Make sure you fill out your name and email, because then you'll get some baseball tips by email. Okay? That sheet down here, if you didn't fill it out.
All right, here we go, guys. We're going to get back started. The next speaker is going to be Mike Huff, former White Sox player, currently in charge of the White Sox Academy. I feel pretty lucky to have him out here today.
Good. Tough act to follow, Pete. I've known Pete for a long time. Very eloquent, very good at what he does. I'm going to be talking a little bit about base running and bunt running. Two things that I got to know and love very well because I couldn't hit for power, didn't have that good when I was in outfield. So, we'll start off with just base running and running. Like Pete said, as you're going through your practices, breaking these things up, like Coach Lombard high school said, try to break them up into smaller groups as much as you can. Any parent that comes by a practice just begin this as a coach. They don't need to be intelligent, they just need to listen to what you're telling them to listen to what you're telling them to watch for with the kids. But anytime you can break up these kids into groups of 4 and 6 versus one person looking at 12, you can get that much done more quickly. Start with running, okay? Home to first. The best thing you can do when you're watching these kids is just watch their form, okay? If strange to say, like Pete was talking about, there's a lot of drills that you can do in terms of stretching that works on form. Form ends up translating into speed. The most important thing right now for you is to see if they're throwing their arms across their bodies, okay? If you think about running straight line, shortest distance, you want the arms, hands to go as high as the shoulder, as far back as the waist. And that's it. Anything above it, further back is wasted motion. Think about the Olympics. Think about those, like the real runners. I mean, they strong upper body, and it's strange to say, but your upper body, how strong you are, how fast your arms move, is how fast your legs move. It's not how fast your legs move, it's how fast your arms move. Arms have to work with the feet. So how these work is how these are going to work. Only thing you need to watch is when they're running, have them jogging or whatever. If they're throwing their arms across the middle of their body, try to get them to keep it forward. Any kid you see with their arm going further out, further back, further high, further low, just stop that. Okay? Home to first. If the O is the base, and we're coming to first, do we want to hit the very front part, the front half, or the back half? We say just the very, very front part. Who say the front half? Who say the back half? Okay. Why the back half? You're going to go through the base, right. Shortest distance between 2 points is straight line. Who says the very front part? Why do you say the very front part?
The first part of the base, you want to get there as quick as possible.
Okay. Makes sense on both of those. We want the front half. Okay. Front part, too many times a kid may lunge for it, pop a hamstring. Too times if you just miss that front part of the base, you end up rolling an ankle. Too many times, there's too many things that can go wrong. Likewise on the back half. If you overshoot it and you hit the back side of the base, very easy to roll. And for an umpire, you want to be like a sprinter leaning forward. And the best way to do that is to hit that front half of the base. Okay? So as we're coming through, working our way from this point back, front half of the base. When we make contact with the baseball, first thing is, watch the ball, pick up first base. How many say watch the ball? How many say pick up first base? Nice. Okay. Exactly. 2 or 3 steps. As soon as you hit it, you kind of know the direction the ball is going, right? You know if it's to the infield shortstop, infield second baseman, if it's going in the outfield, okay? Try to get them. And again, as you're going through your practice plans, you're going to take 4 kids or 6 kids and you're going to do these while some may be doing fielding, some may be doing hitting. And then after your 10 minutes, you're rotating through, okay? So everyone is working on these game situations. Take that, hit 2 or 3 steps, you picked up first base, and now you take that glance. About the 3rd, 2nd, 4th step, you're a couple looks, you're looking where the baseball is. It's in the outfield, it's a ground ball to a shortstop, whatever, okay? At that point, you kind of know if they have a chance to field it, or if it's actually going to be a hit. Head down, going through it, okay? If it's a ground ball, You want them to pick up the base as you come through, left or right foot, right over the middle, hit the front half of the base. After the base, about second step, third step, we're going to glance into foul territory. And then we're going to break down. However you want the kids breaking down, that's fine. Some have them just chop real quickly. Some have them shuffle sideways, slowing down. Don't have them peeling into foul territory. Why don't we want to peel into foul territory? Exactly. Great. Came through the base, glance, I started breaking down. Oh, it did get by him. Now I've got 4-6 feet before I can get to second base. Okay? So, always going through. Let's say that ball's in the outfield. Hit good. 2 or 3 hard strides. You're picking up first base so that now you've got your momentum. You're starting to get your feet turning. You glance, it's in the outfield. About a third of the way, now you start to take a nice banana route. About how far into foul territory do you think we want to go? Just on the cut, hands up, just on the grass cut. Maybe toward the corner of the coach's box, which may be 3 more feet in foul territory. Who say that? And then how many say maybe on the back side where you're kind of 6 feet out? Who would say that? Okay. We want to angle toward the coach's box, the very corner. Okay? So 2-3 steps in the outfield, and now we pick this up. Okay? The reason we always pick up a spot when we're running is that's going to help our body start to focus on where it wants to go. It's going to help our feet and our timing get to where we want to more quickly. Okay? Again, go back to the Olympics. Have the kids go back to the Olympics. As much as you can, these kids are smart. They watch games on TV. If you ever see something in the Olympics, watch these guys. It is freaking beautiful. They'll come out of the block and they will pick up a point past the finish line, and their heads will never move. Okay? Still as a rock. Okay? See the guys in the hurdles. 42-inch hurdle. Their heads will stay perfectly still. The foot will come up, it'll go down, back foot comes by. Their heads will stay still. Okay? There's a reason those guys are that fast. Okay? Keep these things simple. Just picking up that spot, and right about halfway between that cutoff and first base is where you start to make the turn. Okay? You want them going as hard as they can all the way through until when? When do you want them to start slowing down? Any ideas, any hints? When the ball is getting thrown back to the infield. Okay? So there is no reason, once that ball's in the outfield and they're coming around on that turn, they shouldn't care where it is, who's picking it up until after they've hit first base. Okay? As we come to first base, do we want to, if this is that O is our first base, and I've made my turn, and I'm coming this way now, I'm going to say the same thing. Do I want to hit that front corner toward me? Do I want to hit right on the top? Do I want to hit that inside corner? Inside corner. Why do we want to hit that inside corner? Push off second base. Do we want to hit with our left foot or our right foot? Right foot, because more direct line between point to point. Okay? The other angle. Left foot, if you're on that inside corner, you can still push off. Probably going to have a little bit more of a curve though. It's not going to be quite as direct. Okay? I'm not too worried about left or right. If I'm really being technical, I'm hitting it with my left foot. Because if I have my momentum going toward first base as hard as I can, it's going to be too easy unless I really hit this perfectly, and we don't have kids that are going to hit it perfectly every time. Just being honest. You might have that left foot come back into the right. But if we hit it with our left, and we still get out a little bit, right foot's not going to clip our left. Okay? For the most part, I wouldn't worry so much about which foot they hit right now. What you guys are focused on, again, this is one of the stations during your practices. Okay? How are we making the curve? How are we making that banana route? How are we coming out of the box? Are we putting our head down? Are we picking up that base? and then glancing and see where the ball is. Okay? Makes sense? You following me? Once I hit first, that's when I'm looking up as hard as I can and seeing where the ball's played. Trust me, it will never happen. No kid is ever going to not look. No parent is never not going to scream, go 3, go 2, you got it. It's at the... Okay. But just in our drills, if we can focus on those types of things, you're going to start getting them into the good habits. And like Pete was saying, and all these coaches, I was the kid that was like that. Okay? I was the kid that had fun and was very lucky in that my best friend when I was 10 years old was the son of the high school coach. And saw me and said, pretty coordinated, pretty fast, pretty small. The kid, you're throwing it wrong. You're swinging wrong. Here's how you do those things right. And somehow I was lucky to keep playing a lot more years than most. The outfield will tell you when to stop. The infield will tell you when to stop. When do you stop running if the ground ball is short? He throws it, the first baseman catches it, and you're out. In the outfield, you stop running when that ball is coming back to the infield. If you hit first and you're going towards second, left fielder's starting to come up, hit the brakes, sprint back. Okay? Another reason I like the left foot is that, again, you made a nice transition out of the box. You're about 4 feet into foul territory, and as you're coming around, as much as you may want to make this a straight line, again, that short distance, in reality, you're probably not ever going to be able to, but you're going to have only maybe 2 or 3 feet now toward the second baseman. And you're almost setting up your angle right now to get to third. So, as coaches, as parents, especially when some of those kids aren't really listening, all right, we're going to take this 10-minute segment, these 4 kids are doing base running, these 4 were hitting off the tee, these 4 were doing ground balls. 10 minutes as we rotate them. These kids, you're running triples. Go, now, in your beat. Work a little bit of that energy off. Okay? You're working on game situations, you're working on stuff, and you're gassing a little bit. Hopefully take some of that off them. Take that edge off of you as well. As we come around second to third, it's the same thing. Okay? If you've gone through first in that right corner, and you're just about 3 feet outside of that perfect baseline, stay on that line. And as you get about 3 or 4 feet from second base, again, then you just lean, hit with that left foot, and now you're going directly into third. Any questions on that? Make sense? Okay, so as we're coming out of the box, what's the first thing we want the kids to do?
Focus on
First base. Exactly. After they glance at about what step? Third or fourth step. Ground ball, we stay on the base, or do we look all over and we keep watching the shortstop? Yep. After we pick it up, if the ground ball is short, are we having the kids still focus on first out, or are they looking all over the place? Are they going to try to take the banana route? If it's going right to the shortstop. Exactly. Okay? Are we hitting the front half, back half, or the very, very, very fourth part? Front half of the base. Okay? Protect the injuries. You're just teaching them the right way to do these things. And as we're running, okay, how far do our hands go? How high do they go? Should they go higher? How far back do they go? Right about the hip. Okay? So, I mean, again, as Pete was talking about too, you think about how do we simplify this stuff? And really it's pretty simple. And unfortunately, baseball is such a repetitious game that unless you have every day of practice for 2 or 3 months with these kids, which none of you are going to have, how do we make sure we're doing multiple touches on multiple aspects in the shortest amount of time? Okay? And really, when you break it down, it's pretty simple. Okay? If we're not wasting energy, if we're popping these kids through a bunch of different stations, you're going to have a great practice. Okay? Yeah, the biggest thing is the form running. I mean, watch where their arms are going. And just again, it's like a slap in the face. Okay? If their feet are going sideways one way or the other. Okay? Make something up. Every time you cross your body, it's 2 inches. You're slowing yourself down 2 inches. How many steps? Let's count as steps next time. 12 steps. All right, what's 12 times 2? 24. 2 feet. How many times have you seen, how many times have you felt bang, bang, you were out, and you thought you were safe? What if you were 2 feet faster? I mean, it's not bang, bang, it's like bang, and then bang, and they catch them. Okay? Try to bring all of these things back, like Pete was saying, into a progressive way of going back to the kids that they can visualize it and understand it. You have a much better chance of that stuff sinking in. Okay? Lead-offs. How many are going to be doing lead-offs in this group here? Okay. Really simple. Okay? Yeah. This is what are the base. There's the picture. I've got the outs. Simplest way is 2 and 2. Okay? 2 full steps, 2 half steps. So you start with your left foot, leg that's closest to the hitter, because you want to remind them we're all hitters here. Full step, swing around, full step. Even if the pitcher at that point throws over, he's falling down, easy to get back. Half step, half step. At this point, you can do this in lines of 2, with 2 kids each for your one parent, and see where they're going. On the dirt, have them mark the spot. Have them close their eyes. Have them try to do it again. Okay? You should be able to be in the exact same spot every time you take a lead off without ever looking. Okay? As you have some that are better, they may take a third half step. As you have some that are smaller, they may take 3 steps, okay, or 4 half steps, because they're super quick. Okay? Each one you'll be able to figure out in time, but the key is that these kids learn how to do this on their own without ever looking. And why do we want them to always be in this one spot about 10 to 12 feet away? 2 reasons. It's no problem getting back here. They should never have a fear, be it a step and a dive, or 2 or 3 steps if the pitcher, takes his foot off, turns totally around, and it's not like he's trying to kick you off. Okay? But if I'm feeling comfortable as a base runner, I can get back here no problem. Well, all of a sudden, now I know I can get there more quickly because I've just got 10 feet off that distance. Okay? And the key to being a good base runner is not the speed. It's that instinct, that first step, the quickness, and the lines that you're taking to and from. Make sense? Should we have the right foot in front of the left, totally behind the left, perfectly even, or maybe just like a half step off? I'm going to say the half step off because if you're perfectly even, as we're getting ready to steal, it's impossible, virtually impossible, to get that straight line to second base. You're going to have to come in, it probably just doesn't work that way. Okay? And as you guys are looking at me this way, instead of being perfectly here, this foot basically comes to the instep. I'm still real easy stepping the dive, going back. Or again, if I know I can get there standing up, 2 or 3 steps directly into the base. Do not have the kids try to hit the back part of the base. Do not have the kids try to hit it around. Too many ways you're going to slip. Too many ways they can sprain an ankle. The last most important thing is, as these kids are going back in over the middle of the base, shoulders, the front half of the base, that first baseman, if it's a bad throw, you're blocking him from getting it. And again, now if that ball is going this way, you're still going to have time to get down to second base. Okay? But if you try to hit that back part of the corner of the base, you're just giving that first baseman a chance on a bad throw. Go ahead and reach across and get it and maybe tag you. The guys that are trying to dance and try to spin and pivot, again, what happens if it's wet foot? What happens if you kind of got off a little bit? You might miss that corner. So think of 2 and 2, going back, chest right over the middle of the base instead of pivoting. But that 2 and 2 should give every kid the dive back, no problems, no issues. And then again, just slightly offset. Just a half foot back. The last thing, when we're getting ready to steal, getting ready to run, remember Lou Brock was the one that told me this when I was back with the Dodgers in the minor leagues. Do you want to throw that left arm across? Who would think that's the right way to steal a base? Do you want to pull the right arm back? How do you use your arms? Anybody have a thought, an idea on this? Anybody heard anything in the past? So I'm going for second here.
Use the left arm to go to the right.
Exactly. Well, very true. You've got to square your shoulders up. Lou Brock's big thing was, because I kept thinking, well, you got to throw this one across. That was my high school coach taught me, college coach taught me. Lou said it's literally bang bang. He said you got to think of 1-2. You got to think of like the boxer 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 as quick as you can. The 1-2 being this comes out. You put a hand in the middle of my back. So he's like, these have to work together, but the 2 has to be your right hand. Why is that? Again, when you think about how anybody walks or runs, opposite arm, opposite foot. So if all you're telling your kids is you got to throw this arm across and bring your leg, I'm left arm, left foot. So his big thing was, Mike, try to think of 1-2, 1-2. Obviously, this is just for the older kids, and probably for the older teams that are stealing or taking those leadoffs, it might just be 2 or 3 of the kids. But the last thing I'll say when it comes to that is just think of 1-2, not just throwing that arm across. It's got to be both. It's got to be 1 and 2, so that by the time that left foot hits, your right arm is out, and now you have that turnover spot. Okay? Any other questions about leadoffs? 2 and 2. It's got to be full steps. Don't let them take half steps. Don't let them take that left foot and just swing around, because now you're 3 feet off the base. It's got to be a full step, swing full step, and now they're focused on the pitcher as they do their half steps. Why don't we bring our feet together? Balance. Yep. If it's a good pitcher, the first time someone brings their feet together, that's when the throws come in the first, and that's when you need to get picked off. Okay? Any other questions about the base running? All right, bunting, near and dear to my heart. Do we want to? O is our home plate. Square around. Who says yes? Who says rotate on the balls of our feet? I agree. And what's the reason for this? Well, you're also, you're vulnerable, okay? It's coming at you, I'm sorry, you know what? Even with the wiffle ball, it's going to hurt a little bit, okay? So, the biggest thing is, if you come this way, it's a lot easier to turn into a pitch. It's a lot easier, especially for the younger ages. The first time you say you're going to sacrifice, if the pitcher freaks out a little bit and lets it get away, it's going to be a lot easier to duck and get out of the way of a pitch like this. Okay? And lastly, you're right. If I'm here in a good position, I'm going to be able to go toward first base much more easily. Okay? Think about bringing the bat directly forward. Think about throwing the barrel right down the first base line. Okay? Don't swing it around this way. Okay? Don't drop it here. If you think about throwing the barrel down the first base line, as you slide up your top hand, that's in fair territory, almost right off the bat. Okay? One of the problems that most kids do is they get so deep in the batter's box that when they square around the bunt and they're back in here, even if they make contact, the ball's in foul territory. Okay? I used to see guys, a lot of them, take a half step and come all the way forward, so they're almost out of the batter's box. Don't have time for this at your age. Okay? But for the most part, bringing the barrel out, throwing it right down that first base line, and once it comes out, just slide top hand to about the leg. Okay? Sacrifice bunts, again, if this is down that first base line, barrel above the hands, you've got a really good opportunity to bunt to the third baseman. Likewise, heel down the third base line, you set your angle to go to first base. Okay? Always start high, work your way down. Okay? Rarely are you ever going to bunt the ball where the barrel is above your hands. Kind of like you make contact, the barrel's going to be below your hands 90% of the time, unless it's like a really high fastball. Get the kids thinking barrel above the hands, working the knees up and down. But eventually you're going to go down and you're going to make contact. Okay? Bunting for a hit. I am a big proponent of when you're bunting for a hit, it's almost like you're trying to go the opposite field. It's almost like you're trying to hit the home run. It's almost like you're trying to hit that double, score the guy from first. You're looking for a pitch. So you want that hitter thinking, I'm looking for something up in the zone, I'm driving at the gaps, scoring the guy from first. Bunting for a hit, I'm looking for something on the outer half. Why? Got my momentum going that way. Okay? Pick that foot up and put it down. Sure, a lot of people have said drop the back foot so you get that angle going toward first. If you drop the heel, yes. Now I can cover an inside pitch, a middle pitch, or an outside pitch going to first. If I'm a third baseman, have you ever seen someone swing a bat and drops his foot back? Never. Have you ever seen someone swing a bat that picks up their foot, puts it down? Of course. Third basemen are going to stay back. Okay? But the same premise goes, I'm in my stance, pick it up and I bring the bat out. Get it in the fair territory, and I'm looking for something on the outer half of the plate. Okay? Taking my angle here, and the only difference is I'm trying to catch that baseball the very outer 2 inches versus on a sacrifice. Give me a part of that. Pushing a bunt, same thing. When I'm thinking about pushing a bunt, you got a left-handed pitcher, second baseman's playing way back. I'm not catching it on the edge, I'm catching it in the middle, but everything is still the same. Picking it off, I'm holding the bat tight, and as it comes, I'm not punching at the ball, I'm using my momentum to be the strength. Where when I'm dropping it down third and I'm holding it a little bit more softly, catching on the end, as I'm pushing it, I'm holding the bat, even though I slide my hand up, a little bit more firmly. Because what I'm trying to do is make sure this ball gets hit hard enough that it rolls past the pitcher. Think about a direct line right to whoever's playing second. And think about if you want to stop right at the edge of the grass. If he's playing, or she's playing at the very back of that, by the time they pick it up and they come in, they're running 20 feet. You've made contact, you're 20 feet out of the batter's box. 45-foot bases, that person has to pick it up barehanded with a glove and get rid of it within 2 steps. You got a really good chance to get it hit. Okay? So for the sacrifices, bring that barrel right over the shoulder, get it out in fair territory quickly. Slide the hand up to the logo. Holding it solid. Think about the barrel down the first baseline to the third. Heel down the third baseline to go to first. Try to get the barrel above and use the knees to go up and down. Going for the hit, again, same thing. You're picking up that foot and you're bringing it forward. For me, I was looking at outer half, soft or hard, with the bunt that way, and I was looking inner half with the bunt first, knowing that I could use my momentum to push it that way. Any questions? Thank you for the time.